Hello everybody, Mike from Southern California again, and you're on the mic. So today we're gonna go over Jamie Marchi's TCPA. I'm also gonna talk a little bit about the situation with Chuck Huber and also something that Flash covered today as well. The statement Faisel Ahmed made about Erica McCord. So here we go. So when we look at Jamie Marchi's TCPA, it's pretty evident that basically they're trying to push the narrative that Vic has this habit of going around pulling women, just yanking women by the hair, pulling them back into, and whispering something sexual in their ear. That's basically what she's trying to push, and we've heard other, another one of these stories that that's the thing with stories sometimes. It's like they're trying to, Jamie's made the accusation, he's done that. Jesse Pridemore's made that accusation. They're trying to establish a pattern of behavior to indicate that he does this. Now, according to Jamie, of course, we all heard the story back in 2011 after she gave him a hug. He supposedly grabbed her by the back of the hair, yanked her back to him, and whispered something sexual in her ear. According to Vic, he never pulled her hair. He did touch it. He played with it a little bit. Flipped it up, noticing how nice it was. So again, we're in kind of a he said, she said. Particularly with Jamie's story, here's one of the big issues I found problematic with it. Problematic with it. This incident that she claims supposedly happened during business hours in a lobby at Funimation. Okay? There would have been at least one or two other people there. There would have been at least a receptionist and maybe even a security guard there who would have also, but yet we haven't had any corroborating evidence. We haven't had any video evidence of this. You would think they'd also have video cameras there in the lobby. Nothing to really corroborate her story. You're not going to try to tell me during business hours that it was just two employees in the lobby there. Okay, there would have been at least one, maybe two other people. There would have most likely been a receptionist, because think about it like this. There would have probably been, should have probably been at least a receptionist and or security guard there, because you can't, if you were to ever to go and try to walk into a business, right? If you were to ever try to go and walk into a place of business, there are just certain areas you're not allowed to go without permission. Kind of a production studio like Funimation, you're not going to get past the front desk without permission. You're not just going to be able to stroll right past the reception desk and go, just walk into an elevator or up the stairs or wherever. Okay? There's going to be at least a receptionist who's going to be there to stop you and say, hey, what do you want here? And or a security guard. They're not just going to let you just walk in. Especially during business. It's one thing if the place is closed, obviously, but this is during business hours. We know this is probably during business hours. Okay? There would have been at least a security guard and or a receptionist there. There's no way you're going to tell me otherwise. That's the big hole in Jamie's story. There was nobody there to really corroborate that happened. And I honestly believe that if that did happen, let's just play devil's advocate here for a moment and say that Vic did pull Jamie's hair like that. he wouldn't still be working now if that was the case, because the security guard and or receptionist would have if Jamie didn't say anything, then a security guard most definitely, if security guard saw something like that, they would have definitely reported it. And Vic would probably be in jail at some point there. But again, no police reports. If this did supposedly happen, Jamie should have, obviously, if he did commit, what they call simple assault there, she should have filed a report with the police. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, women don't report. Well, even in that, even in the whole pulling her back by her hair, okay, the only sexual element there is the fact that she said he whispered something into her ear that she thought was sexual. Okay, it was at least assault, if not, sexual. What makes it sexual assault? What would have made it sexual assault is whether or not he actually did say something. So then there's a sexual element there. But it's at the very least assault. Okay? This is during business hours, though. There would have been at least one or two other people there. There definitely would have been some kind of video evidence. This would have came out. If this did truly happen, this would have came out a lot sooner than it did. Okay? And to all those out there saying, well, yeah, that's why women don't report, that's why only one, and that's a thing too. All these, it's like people just pull numbers out of their butts, because I've heard, well, only 2% of the reported cases are proven false. I know in one of Jamie's tweets, she goes, only 1 in 3 women report, only 1 in 3 women report, being assaulted. And then Kara Edwards came out the other day and said that's why 80% of victims don't report. 80% of victims don't report. Being assaulted. Well, let's look at those last two numbers for a moment, because that math doesn't really add up. So Jamie is saying only 1 in 3 report being assaulted. That basically means 2/3 of sexual assaults or rapes don't get reported. That's 67%. Kara Edwards is saying 80%. Where's that other 13%? Can't even get the numbers straight, apparently. It can't be both. And also, in regards to, why women don't report it, the whole idea behind, well, women don't report it because they're afraid they won't be believed. Well, I answered that. It's kind of funny because I answered Kara on that very issue, and yet she never responded to that particular tweet. And for those of you who have seen my tweet on it and seen the over 100 likes, because it makes perfect sense here, I'll repeat what I said in the tweet. That is what happens when you lie and you stand on lies. When you lie about sexual assault and weaponize it for your own purposes, you do the damage by creating the environment in which no victim will believe. It just takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. Because that's a very true statement. Trust is very hard to build. It takes a long time to build, but it's very easy to break. So it just takes 1 or 2 people to lie about it to cast a very long and dark shadow on all other cases. And we've seen that a number of sexual assault victims have come out and called Monica and Jamie and Kara and the rest of them out on their BS. Okay? You could even argue that in many cases, I said this about Kara, you could also argue it in some of the things you've seen, particularly in some of the videos you've seen with Jamie and all that, in which their behavior betrays their statements. We look at Jamie. This happened in 2011. We've seen footage of her since that time. I know there was one video going out for a while there in which she and Vic were sitting right next to each other. She actually kind of went over and gave him a hug and even leaned into him a bit. If anything, he actually looked like he was the one who was uncomfortable with the situation. Vic even said in his deposition he had no sexual interest in Jamie. So what does that say to that? What does that really say about it, So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is that. A lot of it's also they're trying to paint Vic as okay, first off, no matter how many times they say it, Vic is not a general purpose public figure. Okay, he doesn't have widespread fame. It's not like, you'd go out, you'd walk out of your house and you'd, walk down the street and ask one of your neighbors, hey, do you know who Vic McNunny is? Most of them are going to say no. There might be one in every 1,000 that may know him. Now, the idea, depending upon how you define limited purpose public figure, that's a shot. That might be. Now, they say that when you inject yourself into a conversation, the one point that Nick has made a lot is when you inject yourself into a major controversial topic. When you become part of the conversation. Vic has been a part of it, but he hasn't interjected himself. He stayed relatively quiet. Anything, this argument works more in regards to Jamie and Monica and the rest of them who've been speaking out about it. Now, as compared to the definition of general purpose public figure, my interpretation of limited purpose public figure, going off of, let's say, as compared to general purpose figure, is if you had widespread notoriety within a particular field. That'd be my general definition. In other words, yeah, Vic, you may not be able to. You may walk down the street of your own neighborhood and ask who Vic McNunny is, and nobody may know who he is. But if you go to an anime convention or you talk to anime fans and you ask them, a lot of them would know who Vic was. A lot of them would also know who Monica was, who Jamie was. Maybe not as many would know who Kara was, or who, let's say, Tara Jane is, or Tara Jane Sands is, or, they may not know but, definitely, Vic, Monica, and Jamie, a lot of anime fans would know who they are, So, albeit, from what I've seen, and this is especially in the case of Monica's, but from what I've been seeing, I think all three TCPAs are going to fail because they're all three TCPAs are built on lies. Jamie, Monica's will look like nothing more than sand, basically. It's just gonna. All three TCPAs are built on lies. And I think all three, personally, from what I've seen of it, all three are going to get thrown out. Okay, I think I've said enough there, so I want to move on to, I want to talk a little bit about the situation with Chuck Huber, because I know Nick has been talking about that a lot, because Nick has been more aware of it than any of us. Chuck, as we all know, is one of the guys who's been Vic is called a friend. Now, Grant, sometimes when you try to help out, sometimes you end up doing more damage, unfortunately, than doing good. There are times when sometimes, we do something, and our intentions may be good, but the way we go about it may not always be the best. Chuck, seeing how this whole drama was going to probably unfold, wanted to try to keep it from getting to the point where we're at now, going to court. He tried to broker some kind of deal in which we would find peace. It's kind of funny because a lot of what Chuck was doing was, at least publicly, what like Monica and Jamie were saying they wanted. But once he presented them with that out, they basically said no, we don't want it this way. Which I think just goes to show what their real motives were. They for years had claimed, oh, Vic is family, Vic is our friend, I mean, we have video of Kara Edwards even calling him a pal in 2010, supposedly around the time of some second assault that he did on her. I talked a bit about that yesterday. But basically, guys, understand this. Chuck was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to help. He was trying to mediate it to where come to a peaceful conclusion. It got thrown back in his face. We may not like how he went about it, but his intentions were good. I think, especially now with Kick Vic trying to pounce on him and stuff like that, going as far as to basically say that the statement that he himself wrote without Vic's knowledge or permission, they're trying to attribute to Vic. Again, how the whole defense is just built on lies. Okay. What I would recommend everybody do is that we show our support for Chuck by supporting him as much as we can. If you don't follow him already on Twitter, then follow him. He sounds like a pretty good. I've talked to him. I've talked to him online a couple times. He sounds like a pretty good guy, and I think we should back him up, especially if they're going to start going, because even the looks of this is, even if Vic wins the case, which I think he will. It looks like I think there's a good chance he'll win it. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves though, but that's just my feel on it. But because their whole case is built on lies, and based on what we heard from Ty about the judge here, just Judge Shupp doesn't sound like somebody who's going to take anybody's bullshit. I think that works in our favor. Works in Vic's favor in this. Because I think everybody knows that everything that Kick Vic is doing is nothing more than bullshit. But in regards to Chuck, I think we should support him, follow him on Twitter, show him your love. He may not have gone about it the best way or the wisest way, but his intentions were good. So let's not give Chuck a hard time. Let's show our support and back him up there. Okay? And one last thing before I wrap up, watching Flash's video, one of Yellow Flash's videos prior to this, in regards to a statement that was made in Monica's TCPA from an affidavit by Faisel Ahmed, of course, the head of Anime Weekend Atlanta and QuakeCon. He apparently claimed that one of the staffers there, by the name of Erica McCord, basically made it, said to him that Vic tried that. Well, okay, he said that she told him that she didn't want to work with Vic, and then he supposedly found out later from somebody else that it was because Vic apparently tried to forcibly, kiss her or kiss her. Um, she basically, now it's since come out on her Twitter account that she basically refuted everything that was said in that affidavit. She doesn't have any issues with it. She's not a diehard fan of Vic, but she defended him when people would call him a diva, a drama queen, or an ass. So looks like she's got a good head on her shoulders. It's funny how these people like to quote people or like to say that these people will support them, and then they come out and say, no, it didn't happen that way. If anything, I don't think any of these TCPAs should be granted because they're built on lies. They are built on lies. All these TCPAs are built on lies. That's a fact. The TCPA should be thrown out because they're built on lies. As I said before, when you lie, you create more problems. I said this part of my tweet, I said it earlier. That is what happens when you lie and you stand on lies. When you sit there and lie about sexual assault and you weaponize it for your own purposes, you do the damage by creating the environment in which no victim will be believed. Lies will catch up with you. The truth always comes out. The truth comes out, Monica. The truth will come out, Monica Rial. The truth will come out, Jamie Marchi. The truth will come out, Funimation. The truth will come out, Ron Toy. The truth. Not your truth, not my truth, not his truth, not her truth, not their truth, not our truth. The truth. Anyways, check out the links below. If you want to contact me directly, my Twitter handle is down there. I'm also, of course, promoting Vic's GoFundMe and, Tug's Indiegogo. It's well up. He's got a lot he's building on that comic. Check it out if you'd like. And always remember, guys, whenever we're also promoting the KyoAni GoFundMe as well. Try to help those out. Again, money won't bring those back who we lost, but it will help those to move forward, from this tragedy. And also, never feel pressured to donate. If you can donate, if it's on your heart to donate, please consider donating. If you've already donated, please consider donating again. If you can't donate, at least share the links. Maybe share the links so that maybe you can find somebody who can help out by donating. Also, and if you like this content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I always look forward to the conversation with you guys. I know I haven't seen any comments or too much, but I always look forward to talking to you guys, having the banter back and forth. I hope we can all have a good conversation about it. And with that, keep the conversation going, guys, because you're on the mic, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.